What a year. I mean, 2020 couldn't have been more unpredictable, eventful, etc., etc. I'm not going to unpack what has happened in 2020. I'll create a separate video on that, but I want to talk about how we can plan 2021, including taking into the account the learnings from 2020. Because I think if we've learned anything from this year, from 2020, is that we need to learn how to adapt, and we need to set goals that can be adapted to the change that we are all facing. Because, well, let's just face it, 2021 is going to be pretty unpredictable as well, and who knows what the rest of the years are going to look like. We have to learn how to go with the flow. So I wanted to create this video helping you plan 2021 in a smarter way, taking into the account the learnings from 2020. One of the most important steps when planning anything, in my opinion, is to reflect on what have you done before, on what has worked, on what hasn't worked, on just, on what has happened in general. So let's reflect on 2020 as a way to plan for 2021. I'm about to take you through some questions that will help you reflect on your 2020. However, if you'd like more structure, join my 3-day reflection challenge using the link in the description. It will be a series of emails that will give you reflection prompts and also templates that you can use for social media to share your findings. It was so much fun doing that in 2019. I did it last year at the end of the year, and so I decided to redo it, revamp it for this year, and yeah, you can find it in the description if you're interested. All right, so let's briefly reflect on 2020. So grab your journal or your notebook or anything else that feels right. For me, it's always a journal and a pen. I love processing my thoughts through writing them down. I think it's a very important exercise for anyone, to be honest. But yeah, grab that and let's start reflecting on 2020. The first thing that I want you to reflect on is the overview. How was your year overall? What have you achieved? What have you done? What are you proud of yourself for? Etc. Then reflect on how have you had to adapt to this year, to the changes that it brought, whether adapting your routine, whether adapting your home for, basically working from home. And if you have children, adapting to not homeschooling, but you know what I mean, like to them doing school at home. How have you had to adapt to 2020 and to the changes that it has brought? Then reflect on what has worked and what hasn't worked. And if you had to redo the whole adaptation thing again, what would you do differently? What motivated you in 2020 and what do you think held you back? Those are very important things to reflect on because they help you understand how to move forward in 2021, because it's going to be a very unpredictable year as well, and it's good to understand yourself in terms of your motivation and also roadblocks. What are the roadblocks that you want to try to avoid? What have you learned in 2020, and how has this year impacted your priorities, your worldviews, and your outlook on life, your outlook on what is important to you? And finally, what or who are you grateful for in 2020? Now that we have laid a solid foundation, we can build on top of that and start looking into 2021. So let's continue with those reflections, continue writing in your journal or notebook, wherever you're writing this. Answer the following questions. The first one being, what are you going to do differently in 2021? Now let's think about, where do you want to be this time next year? How do you want to grow in a year's time? So imagine yourself a year from now, today, a year from now. Where do you see yourself? And I don't mean just in terms of geographical location. I mean in terms of your family, your community, your home. Like where are you physically, I guess? Where are you in your career, personal development, all of those things? Where do you see yourself in a year's time in an ideal world? Of course, other things aside, because we don't control the pandemic and who knows where we're going to be with that. But what are you doing? Where do you want to be this time next year? Reflect on that and write down as many details as you possibly can. Just visualize that, imagine that. Maybe even write down your daily routine. All of that stuff will really help. All right, now that that visualization is done, now that it's all on paper, pick 3 areas of your life that you want to focus on in 2021. These are your priorities, right? And it can be anything from family, career, personal development, mental health, physical health, community, giving back, all of those things. What are the 3 things that are most important to you and that you want to focus on in 2021? Write them down. And now we're going to do something unusual when it comes to goal setting. I use this technique a lot in my course, Define What Success Means to You, which if you're interested to learn more about it, the link is in the description. But we're about to set feeling goals. So instead of setting what you want to achieve, we're going to set how do you want to feel in that area of life. So let's say that one of the areas of focus for you in 2021 is your physical health. Brainstorm how you want to feel when it comes to your physical health and pick out the feeling that stands out the most, that summarizes how you want to feel at the end of 2021 when it comes to this area. What would fulfill that area for you, in 2021. And of course, since we have a different relationship with words, make sure that this word speaks to you. I think that words are so powerful, and sometimes we have like I said, a different relationship with them, so pick your words carefully. For example, I'm not a native speaker, so English words don't speak the same to me as Russian words would, and vice versa. Or Spanish words, they speak differently to me than to my husband, who also speaks Spanish, but he has different associations when it comes to those words, etc. So pick your words wisely. That word or that phrase needs to feel right when it comes to how you want to feel about that area of your life. So for example, for me, when I think about my health, my physical health, how I want to feel when it comes to it is in control. I want to feel in control. Or, for example, when it comes to my family, I want to feel warmth. Does that make sense? So do this exercise and set goal feelings of how you want to feel when it comes to these 3 major areas of your life that you want to focus on in 2021. I hope that this exercise on its own was lots of fun. The first time I discovered this methodology, it was life-changing. And that's why I included it in my course, because I think it's so powerful to focus on feelings instead of end results, because these feelings, there are multiple ways to achieve these feelings, right? And we can adapt to our situation, and feelings are much more fulfilling when it comes to when there are goals. When you set status or materialistic goals, they don't end up as fulfilling because you're aiming for that thing, and that thing might not bring you the feeling that you actually want to feel in that area. That's why we're going back to basics and thinking about the actual feeling that you want to feel in that area. All right, now that we have all of that solid foundation prepared, we're going to create an action plan of how you're going to achieve your goal feelings in 2021 in your focus areas of your life. For every goal feeling in every focus area of life that you have set for yourself, there can be multiple ways of achieving it. So for each one of them, brainstorm those ways. Brainstorm how you can achieve that goal feeling. You see, the fact that there are multiple ways to achieve that same goal feeling makes us more adaptable and less attached to materialistic or status goals. And in case life gets in the way, like 2020, hello, if the world just turns upside down, we don't end up feeling devastated, feeling cheated, or anything like that, because we are not attached to those achievement goals. We're not attached to goals that can be sometimes out of our control, you see? So this is a much more sustainable way that will help you adapt to whatever 2021 is going to bring you. Once that brainstorm is done for every single goal feeling per area of focus for 2021, I'm reminding you there are 3 areas of focus and we have a set goal feeling for, one goal feeling for all of them. So 3 goal feelings. Once you've done that brainstorm of how you can achieve that, pick one. Pick one that feels the best given your circumstances right now. Again, your circumstances could change, right? It could happen in January of 2021. But given your current circumstances, what is your favorite method of achieving that goal feeling? Pick it, and then let's set smarter goals. So this framework is from Michael Hyatt's book, Your Best Year Ever, and he basically took the SMART goal methodology and made it smarter. He added a couple of other things. So the smarter methodology stands for specific. Your goals need to specify what it is that you want to achieve or what it is that you want to do. Measurable, you should be able to measure those results. Actionable, so far so good, so far the same as with the SMART model. So there has to be an action in there. Then the first deviation from the SMART model, risky, smarter. The goal has to feel risky because you're going outside of your comfort zone. Otherwise, what's the point of setting a goal? Because you will just be within the circle of your comfort zone. Time keyed or time bound. Basically, when are you going to achieve that goal? Set a deadline, set a timeline for yourself. Exciting. The goal has to excite you because otherwise, what's the point of trying to achieve it? And finally, relevant. Back to the normal schedule of the SMART goals. It has to be relevant to what you're doing in life, to what you're aiming for in life, and to your priorities in life. So set smarter goals for yourself when it comes to those goal feelings and how you're going to achieve them. The next step is to break them down into smaller goals and milestones, because if you look at something at a big ambitious goals, and I know that you are ambitious, so I know your goals will be ambitious. If you just look at it from a side and it's just like hanging there as this big thing, you might get scared. You might get overwhelmed. And I want you to break it down into bite-sized, into goals, into milestones, into steps that will make you feel like you're more in control. For example, you want to build something yourself. I don't know, you want to build a shelving unit. Just looking at that goal, you might not know where to start and you might end up procrastinating. And that goal might stress you out just by the fact that it's pretty big. You've never done it before. You don't know where to start. You don't know what goes after what. However, if you start breaking it down and at least, break down the next 3 things that you need to do, that will be much more manageable. So for example, research materials, research structures of shelving units, or I don't know, basically start doing research on what are the steps, right? Because that could be the first step. So break it down into smaller goals and smaller milestones. And I also want you to look at those goals and milestones and to really understand whether they are achievements, whether you want to achieve something, there's an end goal, end result to that, or if it's a habit, because a habit will require different approaches to it. And there isn't necessarily a set timeline for it. However, you can create milestones. For example, let's say you want to get into the habit of journaling and you want to journal every single day in the end, but it is hard, so you want to start with journaling just on Sundays, just 1 day a week, right? And start building from that and start celebrating milestones or start setting milestones for yourself as you progress. So make sure that you understand whether it's an achievement or a habit, and if it is a habit, I have another video on how you can basically hack your habits, because there's been a lot of research done on how to create habits that actually stick. So that video shares those tips. I will link it in the description, so I'll leave a link there. And also, if you're watching us on YouTube, somewhere in one of those corners, I'm dyslexic, I don't know where left and right is. Yay! So once all of those milestones, goals, and steps have been broken down for the 3 areas that you're prioritizing in 2021, add it to a habit tracker or your calendar. Make sure that you have created systems for yourself to stay accountable, to stay on track. If you don't do it, you will probably forget this or deprioritize it, or life will get in the way. So just do that right now. And if you're trying to build a habit, why not start right now? Or if you're trying to start achieving those things, why wait until January 1st? Just start doing it, because it will make it easier when you're entering the new year. You won't have as much pressure, built up, being like, okay, I gotta be perfect and I gotta start meditating, or I gotta start training for a marathon. No, just start now. Like, why wait until January 1st? We think in these units. Well, life is not a unit. Life is not broken down into units. Life is continuous. So start now. But also check in with your goals and with yourself on a regular basis. I would highly recommend reviewing your goals and reminding yourself of those feelings that you have set for yourself as goals on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it's in your journal, maybe it's on a sticky note next to on your fridge or next to your computer. Basically, remind yourself of those things on a day-to-day basis to make sure that you're keeping on course. And create weekly or quarterly check-ins with yourself to see if those goals are still resonating with what you want to achieve in life, and whether they're serving you or whether you need to recalibrate. And again, those goal feelings that we have set are there to help you adapt in case if something happens and you can't achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. Find a different way to achieve that feeling, right? Because there are multiple routes on how you can do that. And finally, don't forget to celebrate your milestones and achievements. It's so important to reflect on how far you've come and to notice all of that progress, because it's all about progress. It's not about perfection. We're not going to reach perfection ever, but we do need to recognize ourselves for the progress that we're making. And that's why setting those milestones is just such a great idea, because you can recognize yourself when you reach it. I hope that this methodology has set you up for an amazing and fulfilling 2021, allowing you to adapt to whatever comes your way, because let's just admit it, life is crazy right now. And I hope you're doing well and that all of your loved ones are safe and healthy. Please, please, please follow the regulations. Let's just get it out of the system. I don't think that life is going to go back to normal the way we knew it anytime soon. However, we can all do our part and be good humans and good citizens and think about each other and help each other and just, yeah. And of course, if you want to join my 3-day reflection challenge to do some more structured reflection, if reflection is your thing, and if you want some prompts, make sure that you sign up to the challenge using the link in the description. I'm waiting for you there. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this methodology of setting feelings as goals and then setting goals from those feelings and being able to adapt to whatever life brings your way, because you are aiming for a feeling, and you're not attaching yourself to a specific thing that you need to achieve and feel like a failure if it doesn't happen. So yeah, let me know. Super curious. And again, if you'd like to learn more about my course, Define What Success Means to You, where I use that methodology a lot, that's basically the basis of my whole thing, of my whole course. The link will be in the description as well. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, and share it with your friends who are also thinking about their 2021. I don't know a single person who is not thinking about 2021 and is like, yeah, that's gonna be my year. We all did that in 2019. I remember that so clearly. But yeah, life has different things in store for us. So yeah, let's be adaptable. Send this over to your friends so that they can also adapt. We can also be friends on other social media. You can find me as Coding Blonde. Have a wonderful time today you're currently experiencing. Bye.